You very rarely see it, if ever.
Hey everyone, GillicCloseCallSports.com. Here's a rarely, if ever, seen lineup card issue that happened twice. So let's get into the paperwork. I don't like lineup card issues. There's a lot of papers to go through.
Craig Counsell, the manager of the Brewers, is talking to Marvin Hyde. De Los Santos was not on the lineup card.
Okay, got your coffee and your Ritalin because this is fun! Kind of. Official Baseball Rule 4.03 is called the exchange of lineup cards. It's completely pointless, it's boring, it doesn't even apply anymore. In COVID, they are no longer doing physical lineup card exchanges, they're doing everything electronically. But the rule is still on the books, so we have to use it. 403D states that after the umpires receive the lineup cards, that's the official version, no substitutions shall be made by either manager except as provided in the rules. 403C, this is fascinating, states, quote, as a courtesy, potential substitute players should also be listed, but the failure to list a potential substitute player shall not make potential substitute player ineligible to enter the game. So, why was De Los Santos not permitted to enter the game? Presumably, he was a potential substitute player not listed on the card, but the rule states that as a courtesy, even if you're not listed, it doesn't make you ineligible to enter the game. We have to keep reading. Why? Because 403 states that teams not only have to potentially list a substitute, but that doesn't make them ineligible. In order to be eligible, the teams have to designate whether the player is a pitcher, a position player, or a two-way player. So by failing to list De Los Santos, he was not ineligible because he wasn't included. He was ineligible because the team did not designate whether he was a position player, a pitcher, or a two-way player. Wrap your mind around that. You don't have to be listed, but in order to be eligible, you have to be designated on the lineup card as a position player, a pitcher, or a two-way player, which effectively means you do have to be listed as a potential substitute player without actually saying it. So because De Los Santos was not designated as one of those options, De Los Santos was ineligible to come into the game to pitch. The aftermath was that the new pitcher, Hale, who was listed on the lineup card as a substitute pitcher, was brought in to pitch and given as much time as deemed necessary by the umpires, pursuant to Official Baseball Rule 507, to warm up. Wow. Let's go to Seattle, where more fun happened.
Major League Baseball here in Seattle as we welcome you to T-Mobile.
At second base. I'd like to welcome back Evan White. He is at first base.
No sooner did you say stay away from the walks, a four-pitch.
Hyde is out talking to the home plate umpire. Must be something that he's saying with the lineup for the Mariners. Yeah.
Oh, another one for the files. You never know what you're going to see. Exchange, and now Scott Servais is going to get what's going on. No idea what this could be about.
Some sort of issue with the lineup. Now he's back out of the dugout again. Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief, now having a conversation with Hyde.
There was a lineup sheet, we're told, that showed Trammel in left.
The Seattle one's a little easier. The lineup card that the umpires had Haggerty in left field, but the lineup card that the Orioles, or at least Hyde had, apparently had Trammel in left field. If we look at the rules, we start at home base again, which is 403. No substitutions made except as provided in the rules after submission to the umpires. That is the only official version. So we find that Hyde had a lineup card with an incorrect player on it, but the umpires had the card with the correct player on it. And really that's all you have is if the umpires have one card, that's the card you go with. That's the open and shut case right there. But what Hyde was trying to do by waiting for that player to walk, or at least waiting for a pitch to be thrown to start the game, he's hoping to get the umpires to invoke 510D, which states that a player, once removed from a game, shall not re-enter that game. And what that does is if you detect it prior to the pitch, prior to that player ever appearing in the game for any action whatsoever, you get to remove the incorrectly substituted or brought in player and replace that player with the correct player. No harm, no foul. The player you just took out can come back in later on. But If you wait until the pitch is thrown, the player is said to have participated in the game, and now when that player is removed and replaced by the proper player, that player is no longer eligible to come back in the game. It's considered a player that has been taken out of the game. That's the strategy that Hyde was going for, but again, it was all for naught because the umpire's lineup card did indeed have Haggerty in left field. So the moment I saw Lance Barrett was the plate umpire, I immediately flashed back to this play from 2017.
And Dave Roberts now coming out.
Asking what's going on still with the changes and looking at the lineup card.
There's only so much boredom we can take in one video, so I'm not going to talk about the double switch rules, but essentially Minnesota botched a double switch and the Dodgers called them out on it. Bob Guerin was the bench coach for the Dodgers, still is, and Bob Guerin is a rules expert. And it shows, because the Dodgers wisely waited until a pitch was thrown. There was miscommunication, and Vince Scully said, boy, the music is loud. Maybe Dodger Stadium music contributed to that, the volume level there. I tried to ink or draw up on the lineup card that was displayed at the stadium scoreboard to show you what the Twins wanted versus what they actually got. But nonetheless, the Dodgers used the Rule 510D provisions and 510H as well regarding proper pitchers, improper pitchers, substitute players, to use it to their advantage to, number one, get a pitcher that was listed on the lineup card that didn't actually pitch out of the game so that they wouldn't have to face that pitcher, plus make this pitcher continue pitching to their batters, plus try to get a fielder out of the game. So that was sort of a triple whammy there that the Dodgers tried to do, and they actually did it successfully because of the lineup card rules. These are the rules that no umpire really likes to focus on. The exams that umpires take regarding the rules, these are on them, and they're like, well, why would we ever have to use a lineup card rule? Well, this is why. It's completely boring, it's inane, but it's a necessary evil in the rule book, even though it's really boring. Thanks so much for watching. I have rules fatigue. Visit us online at closecallsports.com, Twitter and Facebook at closecallsports. We'll see ya on the site. What do you mean the only penalty in basketball is a technical foul?